Hello everybody, this is Andy, and welcome to episode 24 of Omnifactory. Oh yeah, dude, oh yeah. I feel like, what is it, Hypnotized? Yeah, I watched his, like, PO3 Kappa mode playthrough, and, his intro kinda gets on my nerves, I don't know why. So, let's start this episode off by making some ASOC chips. This is made with Naquata doped wafers, which is made from Naquata doped boules, which is something that we can do. We're just gonna need a blast furnace for it. 5400K, that's not that bad, and we're gonna have to craft blocks of silicon. Okay, let me set up some stuff for this, and no, we have a lot of argon, we'll be fine. And let's get making some Naquata doped boules. And that right there is our Naquata doped monocrystal silicon. Well, no, it's just a Naquata doped boule. Oh, no crazy names this time. Interesting. So what I want to do is tell it to turn off when I have 10 in the system. I don't want this thing to run any more than it has to. So that's also because we're going to have a backlog in both the cutting saw of things and in the precision laser engraver. So let's go ahead and set up those two things. Okay, I set up the system right here, right next to our thermal centrifuges at EV because, you know, these are going to be crafting forever. We're not going to need that many of them, and I'm just going to let them buffer into an entire unmessed with drawer. I tore out a couple of these thermal centrifuges because we simply don't need them right now. If we need them, I might upgrade them to IV tier anyways, or IV or LUV, one of those two. And as you can see, we're getting SOC wafers on this side, and we're getting ASOC wafers on this side. These are used for higher tier circuits. These ones are used for the lower tier circuits. And all that this does for the lower tier circuits is make like more. So if I do, say, I want a lot of tier 2s, I use the epoxy, SOC, a little bit of fine red alloy wire, and it makes these more directly as well. So they're technically cheaper, I think, because we have a lot of infrastructure to support it. All I need to do now is throw a couple of storage buses on these bad boys, and we should be able to put them to use. The reason I need these guys is to make the final tier 6 circuits, which I will also start using a crafting card for in a little bit. And these have to be made at ZPM, it looks like. So I made a brand spanking new ZPM assembling machine, and let's set that up over... Where is my ZPM stuff? Over here. And this assembler will do exactly one thing for the rest of its life, because that's the only recipe in JI at least that uses sterilized growth medium in an assembler. So, sorry bud, you got a boring existence ahead of you. However, should I ever want, say, 20 of these tier 6 circuits, they're actually very, very cheap to make, and I think they're pretty quick. Yep, gets shoved. Oh no, they're not very quick. They take 10 seconds per, and we're not overclocking it. So they're not that quick, but you get 4. So, you know, I'm okay with that. And with those tier 6s done, we're now ready to order this, I believe. It's a little bit bigger of a crafting recipe. It's got a lot of packages to make, so it's a little bit of an issue when calculating. However, it looks like we're good to go. This might take a minute, but it is getting done. One thing I did want to check on is how is my lapis doing? I might need to go ahead. Nope, we're actually doing fine. I might be getting lapis from one of the microminers. When I send random microminers out whenever I need something, or just whenever I feel like I need something. So we're probably getting lapis from somewhere. While that tier 7 microminer goes, why don't we set up another little fluid automation? One of the last ones, I think, actually, that we're going to have to do, or at least for the circuit. This is the end of our circuit, actually. These are the third and final tier 7s, second and final tier 8s, and the first and only tier 9s. The only thing that I'm missing is, I think, a recipe for, like, sentient ender and silicon rubber foil, which we're going to have to make from the plates, and we're going to have to make from the silicon rubber, which is quite simply a chemical reactor recipe with a little bit of sulfur. It's made from polydimethyl siloxane, which is reacting water and dimethyl chlorosilane, wow, that's something, or methanol, hydrochloric acid, and silicon, or water, chlorine, and methane. I think I'm going to go for this recipe right here. And that was quite a bit simpler than I expected it to be. I've actually put this off for a while. I knew this was coming, but, you know, I was a little bit lazy. Do we need these silicon rubber plates in anything? And if we don't, I think I might actually just cluster mill them here. No, let's cluster mill them on demand. our cluster mills are incredibly fast, even though they're running at HV right now. So that's going to need a recipe, and it'll be fairly simple. I'm going to put that in, and we should be good to go. I didn't find any reason to like bring you guys back in the middle of that craft or the setting up the system. I've gotten so fast at putting things like that together that like I don't know. I don't really need to show you guys. I don't really have any issues. Like I use the pumps and conveyors a lot, and it just seems to work. And with that silicon rubber finished up, our tier 7 Microminer is now done, and we are able to request tier 7 and tier 8 circuits. We only have one circuit left that we can't craft, and that's this wetware processor mainframe. This is the first and only tier 9 circuit, and it requires something very special, titanium. Titanium has to be made in a fusion reactor, and it has to be made using duranium, which is also made in a fusion reactor. So perhaps we need to set up a Mark II fusion reactor. However, before we do that, we might as well set up the large Microverse Projector so we can send our tier 7 on its way. And this is just going to be a lot of building, so I'm going to do it off camera, but I'll show you the end product. And here it is, the large Microverse Projector. And it's actually quite large, a little bit larger than I expected it to be, but you know, that's okay. And I hooked it up to the ME system, so if we go ahead in here and say, hey, I want, what do we get? We get Dragon's Breath from it. Ooh, I want Dragon's Hearts. That's what I want. I want one of these. It'll say, oh, I know how to do that. I can make all this stuff and send it off. And let's go ahead and do that because we want those Dragon Hearts. And it should just simply craft up all the extra stuff that it needs and send it off. It looks like the dilithium crystals are going to be our bottleneck. I might want to update that autoclave to... Actually, I definitely need to update that autoclave. Hold on. Well, actually, I'll probably update it after it finishes this craft because, you know, it only needs 100 or like, I don't know. It needs some amount, so it'll be fine. Also, I don't know if it's noticeable on video. It might be. There are some frame jumps when I look this way. I'm genuinely starting to lag a little bit. I usually get over 200 frames per second. And in fact, when we're down in our base, like on the IV level, I do get around 150, 200 frames per second. But upstairs where you can, I guess it's trying to render all the wires at one time. And that gets a little bit laggy because we have a lot of them. I think that's one of the issues with modded Minecraft. Optifine has a setting that allows you to like don't render stuff that's not in view. However, I don't think it knows that if you like can't see the conduits, you can just not render them. It decides to just render them all the time, everywhere. So yeah, we're gonna get a little bit of lag, but that's okay. It's just about done, so if we go upstairs, we should be able to see that our thing is just about to get sent off. And go. Go. It went without me. Oh my goodness. Okay. And it's going. It's going to take a while, but it's going, and that's the good part. While it's going, I'm going to set up a new autoclave because I don't think HV is cutting it anymore. Alright, I set this autoclave up downstairs at IV, and it looks like it's a lot faster than the other one, so we should be good to go from there, for now at least. Let's check. Did our Microminer come back? I need Dragon's Eggs and Dragon's Hearts. No, it looks like it isn't quite finished yet. Let's go upstairs and check on it really quickly. Is it almost done? And it looks like it just finished again, of course. Oh wait, I know what happened. I didn't ever set you up to output into the ME system. So there's all our stuff. Most of this stuff is actually fairly useless. Like all of this, useless. This stuff, pretty useful. Dragon's Breath, almost useless. Dragon Eggs, very useful. Dragon's Heart, the most useful. We need this to make Awakened Draconium, which we can now do actually. And there we go. He's all nice and hooked up to the ME system, ready to do all of his work automatically. So I was looking at the tier 8 rocket, and it looks like the only thing that we can't make right now is the field generator at ZPM, because that requires titanium. So that's definitely going to be our next step. However, I was also looking at the tier 9 and tier 10 rockets because I went ahead and put in the recipes for them, and it doesn't appear as though we're really missing all that much, and it doesn't appear as though it's all that bad of a recipe. The only issue is going to be that we need a ton of neutronium for this, a ton of neutronium for this, and we're going to have to start making the omnium. It's going to be a lot of work still. However, we're getting very, very close. Anyways, let's go ahead and request the Fusion Reactor Mark II. It appears as though we're missing a couple of things. It looks like my recipe for the field generator U or LUV is no longer valid. Actually, I'm just pretty sure that I overwrote it with something else because the recipe isn't in either of these unpackagers. So now we should be able to order, what even was I going to order? Yes, the Fusion Reactor Mark II, and we're still not good. It still wants the wetware assembly and the neural processing units. Did I never set those up? I believe I accidentally overwrote or didn't save a couple of recipes, but now that I've fixed some stuff and changed out some circuits, we should just be able to order it. This is actually going to require my assistance at the end, the final step, because it requires the circuits to be in... Wait, nope, I'm doing this wrong. It requires the circuits to be in 4 different slots, and they're all going to get shoved in the same one. So I'll have to help it along. It appears as though our Fusion Reactor Mark II has finished without any intervention, so I guess they don't actually have to be in different parts, there just has to be 4 of them, which is perfectly fine by me. I need to now order 32 of these, however, I think there's an issue with this. Oh no, there's not. Awesome, I fixed all the issues already. Perfect, let's go ahead and order those. Those are going to take forever to craft. In the meantime, I have been working on setting up a storage system for the tier 6s. I'm just throwing it right here because the tier 6s are made right here, and I want to store a bunch of them. Oh shoot, now I'm not going to be able to... I need a sample. Can I make you not export for a second, and then I'll be really sad because you're not going to finish your recipe? Oh no, I just need to... Wait, yeah, I just need to set the filter, and tell you to make me 200 always with a, like that, I think, right? Is this bad? I believe this is set up correctly, and I think I didn't ruin anything. I just need to turn auto export back on, and we should be cooking. Does this mean, yep, I'm getting a couple of fusion coil blocks. Let me set up everything for the fusion reactor except for the coils. And here is around exactly half of a fusion reactor. So I should just be able to put all these coils on the inside. Is that correct? That feels wrong. Nope, that's definitely correct. Okay, I'm gonna put the coils in and we should be good to go. I fully expect this to be a huge power drain on my base. I am running it using 16 UV input hatches, and that can supply approximately the most amount of RF. However, I think we'll be okay to do the process that I want to do, which is the duranium. Duranium is the first thing we need to do, and then we can turn it into tritanium later. And once again, the moment of truth. This almost never works, it almost never forms the first time, but I think I might have done it right this time. And apparently not. What did I do wrong? I think I just made a very dumb mistake. I think the fluid output hatch has to be here and not where it was, which means... There we go. Okay, my fault, and this thing should be running. And it doesn't look like it's using all too much, like 20,000 EU per tick, which is acceptable. Which means also that it's producing, right? You're producing? Ooh, it's producing. Very slowly. Is it a 1-to-1 ratio? 16, 16, 16, or 16, 125, 16. I'm gonna need to get more gallium. Wait, no, I'm not gonna need to get more gallium. I'm gonna need to get to more radon. I can do that really quickly though. Luckily, this guy has been doing his job for approximately the last 1,000,000 years, and we have a bunch of radon. Hey, you put more in the... Oh, it's just a bucket. We're good. Time to go back down here, and don't do that. Do that. Go over to the fusion reactor, and is this gonna be enough? It's almost definitely not, but I think this thing runs slow enough that I will be back before it runs out. However, we are gonna need a tank right here. I think it's gonna fill up the 8 buckets fairly quickly, and 50,000 should be just... No, it's not gonna be enough. Hold on. I believe that 800,000 millibuckets should be enough, because I think it's like, what, this is, yeah, this is like 73 buckets of gallium to, it's a 1-to-1 output, so we'll get 73 buckets of duranium. So now I'm gonna let this thing run. It's gonna do its thing and hopefully not drain our entire base of power for a while. And I'm gonna go get a run in because I have to do a workout. I have to do 8 miles at like 5:15 pace because I'm a psychopath. So I'll see you guys in like an hour, and good luck. That's more of a good luck to me than it is to you. So yeah, see you in an hour. So it's now been approximately 4 hours. I did my workout. Spoiler alert, it was a little bit slower than 5:15 pace, but you know, I'll take it. I've been running a lot recently. And I think we've managed to go through most of our gallium, and I'm gonna call that good because we have made a fair few buckets of this duranium. And it is 64.5 buckets. That's pretty good. Sorry, gallium, it's time to go. And that didn't work. Okay, I'm just going to break it and replace it. That should do the trick. For some reason, I haven't been able to get the plunger to work in this playthrough. Not entirely sure why. It's never given me any problems before. But, you know, whatever. So this is our duranium, and this is our gallium. Let's go ahead and place this right here. And we're going to need a bunch of titanium, which I have upstairs. Central, no, take me to central, please. And it should just be right here if it has finished melting up. Ooh, I forgot to put the conversion kit on it. Let me do that really quick. Oh, conversion. It's already right there. I don't need to finish writing the word. And it's exported. And thank you. So this is a 1.5 to... Wait, is it a 1? Yeah, it's a 1.5 to 1 ratio for the titanium to duranium. And the duranium is a 2 to 1 ratio to the tritium. So we're getting, so okay, we have 64-ish buckets of this. We're going to get 32-ish buckets of the output, which is titanium. So I'm going to let this run for a while, and we're going to move on to something else that I've noticed is a little bit of an issue. We're not producing the circuit boards fast enough. So we're producing these plastic circuit boards right here. These are fine. We only use these for approximately one thing, and that is these tier 1 circuit boards. I guess they're used for the lower tier 2 circuit boards, but we're not making this anymore, so this is literally used for the final tier 1 circuit boards. We don't need this. We don't need to improve this. We don't really use tier 1 circuits anymore, and the one process that uses tier 1 circuits, the processors from Applied Energistics, are still using the process that we automated all the way over here forever ago, and this thing is still producing. So yep, we have 1100 circuits in there. The main issue we have is with these fiber reinforced circuit boards. Also, I think I'm leaking memory, so I'm starting to get some lag spikes. I'm going to restart my game in a little bit. However, let's upgrade this process first. So I'm going to need a couple of chemical reactors. I think it's just going to be one chemical reactor. And let's maybe upgrade the process of creating the epoxy resin sheets as well. So that's one chemical reactor, one chemical bath, and a couple more. Let's just make like 5 chemical reactors and call it a day. First things first, the production of these epoxylated sheets is actually fairly quick and faster than I think we'll ever need at this stage, so we're going to leave all of this stuff here. It's actually a fairly clean setup and I'm pretty happy with it, and so it's going to stay. The problem is, it is a little bit too fast for what we've got going on right here. Well, I guess this thing is fast enough, but we're going to upgrade it anyways. And here is step 1 automated, and I just used some packing tape to move this drawer, and we're going to upgrade the limit of this guy. Or are we? Is that really necessary? Let's give him a little bit. Let's give him 20 stacks. He can have 20 stacks. He deserves it. And we're going to item output to that side. I think my brain's a little bit dead from the workout. However, this thing's doing well. And here is step 2. It is the upgrade for the fiber reinforced epoxy resin, and it's quite good. Let's go ahead and turn that into auto export mode, and we're going to stuff this drawer with 20 stacks of things. And here's step 3, the final step of our upgrade, because the fiber reinforced circuit boards are actually being produced at EV upstairs, so those are fast enough. And it looks like we're creating a backlog of fiber reinforced circuit boards, and our circuits are being replenished. The reason I noticed this issue was actually because our crafting cards weren't working. And one, that's very dangerous because crafting cards failing causes a lot of TPS lag. And two, we were accidentally I set up some automation poorly back in the day, and this is my solution to fixing it. Because we were shoving copper foil, I believe, in 2 slots, and one of those slots needs to be something different for both of these. So I was shoving copper foil whenever I ran out of like epoxide sheets or fiber reinforced epoxy sheets into both slots, which is dumb and stupid. So now, if we look in our system, we are auto-crafting to 200 of each of the 1st through 6th tier circuits. And I don't know about you, but this feels really quite good. I could start auto-crafting 7 and 8, and potentially even 9 soon, but I feel like that might be a little too much for right now. In doing that circuit progression type thing, the fixing thing that we did just right there, I have managed to accumulate 7.5 buckets of titanium. I believe I will be able to take this for a little while without this output hatch filling up, so we should be good. Let's go upstairs, and first I need to grab my ingot cast. Do I not have it? No, ingot. Do I not have an ingot mold? I do have an ingot mold. Why didn't it show up? Okay. Anyway, let's go upstairs to our fluid solidifier. This is our on-demand fluid solidifier, and it looks like it has a little bit of europium. Let's try the plunger on this bad boy. See if it works this time. And empty. And empty. Nope. Use while sneaking to clear 1,000 mil buckets. And empty. Empty. Did one of those work? No. Good thing you can just do the good old break and replace with these machines. So let's do that. Hit it with the crescent hammer to send it in, and let's create a bunch of ingots. And this might get me close to a stack. Okay, that should be enough to get us our first couple tier 9 ingots. And shove that in there. Do I have all the recipes in? I don't think I do. I think I have to make the frame recipe. But let's give it a shot anyways. Tier 9. Oh, I don't even have the recipe in for the circuit. Okay, give me a second. I only just have enough for 1 tier 9 circuit. However, we're not going to need that many. I am going to need to make another batch of europium in the fusion reactor. However, we can make our first one of a couple, and it looks like the process isn't going to start. That's probably an issue with AE, and it went. Okay, we're good, and we're on our way. The main issue with these is that they take 8 wetware supercomputers, which is the tier 8 circuit, and that means they take 16 of the tier 7s, which are kind of slow. I think this also might have destroyed our circuit backlog. Actually, it didn't do that bad. This only uses how many to make a 7? Oh, it only uses 2 to make a 7. That's actually a really good ratio. Oh baby, it's just about to be done. It's crafting its last one, and then it should shove. Okay, it's starting. Let's go watch it work. Come on, which one? It's this one, I think. Are you gonna go? Come on. Give me your thing. I think you have a lot of stuff to put in. Hello? You do run, correct? What's wrong with you? It turns out this tier 9 circuit is missing one of the most expensive and rare fluids in the game. Water. And there it goes. And oh man, it takes a second. Good thing we don't need too many of these. However, I think I might make the Fusion Reactor Mark III, but not today. Any second now, we're gonna have our first tier 9 circuit. And it's idling. Okay, tier 9, and there it is. Okay, that is probably a big quest. Let's check. Do I get an Omni dollar? I get 10 Omni quarters? That's 250 bucks right there. That's pretty good. Wait, another quest? Hold on. What's that for? That is for... I don't know. I believe it was just right here. It was on the progression page. So, now that I've done a ton of tinkering with our packaged auto system, it turns out I overwrote one of these onto the other one at some point and was having a lot of problems with recipes that just simply weren't working. So, we're good now. I think everything is back where it needs to be. However, we can test that by ordering our first ever tier 8 Microminer. And it says no. It says we can't do that because we don't have an aquatic coil, platinum foil, or awakened draconium. Interesting. Turns out when I was fixing my recipes and adding new ones to packaged auto, I messed one up. Emitter was trying to use microprocessor mainframes when it's supposed to be using these crystal circuits. So let's save it. And I should just be able to send it back into these guys, and hopefully this does mean that we can make the tier 8 microminer. I suspect it's not, though. We seem to be missing a couple other things. Okay, so platinum foil, I cannot make that. Naquata cable, and awakened draconium is the hard one, so we're going to have to do some infusion. I fixed our other recipe issues, however, this one is slightly more involved. And slightly, I mean like quite literally in the lightest sense. So I think we need chaotic tier to make these. Oh no, we just need wyvern. Am I gonna run it? Yeah, I'll run it here because it's a little bit faster. So all I have to do is whitelist the draconium blocks in the center and blacklist them on the other side. And now it should be as simple as ordering some awakened draconium. It's actually a slightly complicated and involved recipe, however, that's the beauty of autocrafting. We don't have to do anything. And awakened draconium. Okay, perfect. And it should just go directly into our system. And that's a big one right there. Awakened draconium. Now let's check how we do on the quests. It looks like we're unlocking the quantum fluxed eternium heavy plating. And this one has a slightly more involved recipe than the rest. However, it's quite literally just, hey, set up another blast furnace at a very high EU per tick. With our newly found awakened draconium, we should now technically be able to process this, except we don't have a big enough computer apparently. I have a big computer, don't I? I'm lagging now. I need to restart my game soon, but I'm fairly certain I have a big computer. We're gonna need our staff of traveling back. This thing is useful occasionally, even though it's kind of not my favorite. I should have 128k right here. However, I guess it's in use for this. I'm crafting a couple awakened cores just to make this recipe. We're gonna need this recipe eventually. So let's go ahead and add a couple more coprocessors in between these two to lower our computer count. However, increase the amount of 128k. I am lagging bad. I'm going to restart my game after I request this. So the tier 8, come on dude, Microminer, and let's go. Okay, our AE system is starting to get a little bit laggy too, so that worries me. I really need to restart my game. I'm going to crash soon. However, I did manage to request it, so this might take half an hour to craft, which is a little frustrating, but we'll be okay. And oh man, time to restart. It's actually only been about 10 minutes, and our tier 8 is done it seems, so we should complete that quest. And now we can send this guy on his way. Now we have to ask ourselves, do we want gravity stars, a little bit of neutronium, or do we want dragon eggs, a ton of them, and some chaos shards? And you know, I'm going to answer my own question and say I want chaos shards and dragon eggs, because these are going to be used all over the place down the line. So this is the recipe for the chaos shards and some dragon eggs. The main issue for this is the layer of the Chaos Guardian data. This thing, it's a little expensive. We need to send out a tier 7 microminer on its own to get one of them. So that means each tier 8 microminer that wants to get us chaos shards is relying entirely on a tier 7 microminer, which also needs a ton of warp engines and all that kind of stuff. However, I'm fairly confident that we can request this right now. If I shove this in here, I should be able to request a chaos shard, and everything should go okay. Oh yeah, it's only 71,000 bytes. That's like basically nothing. I mean, I'll just press start. There we go. Our first little guy is off, and he's well on his way towards getting us a little bit of chaos layer data. Also, let me check my TPS. Forge TPS. And ooh, the mean tick time has gone up significantly. However, as long as it stays under 50 milliseconds per tick, oh, it just went down. As long as we stay under 50 milliseconds per tick, we will maintain 20 ticks per second, which is the normal TPS that Minecraft runs at. And it looks like we've just sent off our Chaos Shard guy. He should come back, hopefully. But if he doesn't, hopefully we still get the Chaos Shards. And for once, I believe our pilot has actually returned safely. I don't actually know that. I mean, I assume he just kind of ran off and didn't just crash and burn on the re-entry to Earth, but I think we're good. We got some chaos shards, and these things can be used to make to make this and other things that we need, like this. And, okay. Let's go ahead and call it a day there. We are going to get into a lot of stuff next episode, including the Fusion Reactor Mark III, because I want to use that to make, neutronium? Yeah, I want to use the Fusion Reactor Mark III recipe to make neutronium. That is right somewhere over here. There it is. It takes a little bit of Quadria, a little bit of Americium, and we're going to start processing this tomorrow. However, I think that's all the time I have for today. We're also going to get into all of these solidified heliums and maybe start making modes of omnium. Tomorrow's going to be a big day. Okay. Have a fantastic day. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.